It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports, Pete.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. And that's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning. So we love Extraco.
With Ease US makes studio quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects. Never been easier to create professional grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Hi, I'm Mitch, the co-founder of Cake, a sexual health and wellness company designed for today and designed for you. Yes, you. The entire product line can be found at hellocake.com, and it's also available in every Walmart near you.
Send money abroad in just a few steps with Remitly. Sign up with your email, enter an amount, choose how your loved ones receive the money, enter your recipient's information, select a payment method, hit send, and relax. Download the Remitly app today.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated. Each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Looking for tickets to the hottest shows, games, and events? Ticket Liquidator is your one-stop shop for great prices, no hassles, and guaranteed tickets. Whether it's sports, theater, or concert, for the best seats at the biggest events, start with Ticket Liquidator today at ticketliquidator.com. Ticket Liquidator. The You Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. That's ULIKE.com. You Like.
It is the Pete Sousa Show. We are presented by Slovacics. Of course, we also thank our good friends at Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers, Socorro Family Ford, and again, you got to talk about Crawford Austin Properties when you talk about what makes this whole thing possible. And First National Bank of Central Texas. Our boy Dan Ingham, he's got business to attend to today. We're going to try to work him in tomorrow. Because Dan, of course, represents First National Bank of Central Texas, and our relationship with them continues to grow, and it's one of the utmost of importance to us around here. So we got to get Dan. We may not have him in the studio, but we'll try to get him on the horn here tomorrow and get his pick. We do have Jimmy Walker, PGA champion, who's going to talk to us this morning about the Ryder Cup, and of course, he's a Baylor grad, so we want to find out what he thinks about Baylor and Arizona State. It's not too often you get a PGA champion on a show and an opportunity to pick his brain about the Ryder Cup, which is in 2 weeks at Bethpage Black in America, obviously. It's in New York. And we're going to talk about the trappings of being a member of a Ryder Cup team. I'm always curious about the chemistry, how much that matters. And I want to go through the roster with him and find out exactly what is special about the U.S. team. And I want some odds here. I want some predictions. No, I probably won't give me a prediction, but I need some insight, right? We talk football, basketball, a little bit of baseball here in life. Not a ton of golf unless we get our good friend Mike Barton Jr. My man Murph is actually out in the woods right now. He's hunting, and Murph is our guy who comes on and talks to us before any majors. I guess we can probably have Murph for a segment before the Ryder Cup, but as he would admit, Jimmy Walker tops that act. Of the Pete Sousa Show, presented by Slovacics, just wrapped up doing Inside the 12, which will air, of course. It airs at different times, depending on where you are, but you can find it on HBO Max and True TV and the Big 12's YouTube channel. It is always there too. It's a great spot to go get it. And as far as the Big 12 and heading into events this week, we had a chance to talk, little teaser for the show, and I won't give too much away, but we talked to Joel Klatt, who's going to be on the call for Texas Tech and Utah in Salt Lake City this weekend. And that game, by the way, it's so interesting how the Big 12 has done an amazing job. And I'm a guy who calls games for ESPN. So the more Big 12 on ESPN, the better I eat, right? But there's also a tie-in where with the Big 12, they were doing a lot on Fox. And the opportunity to talk to Joel Klatt this morning is an illustration of that. But if you look at Saturday and the slate for the Big 12, there's 3 games, big noon kickoff, the 3:30 kick, and then 7 o'clock. All are going to be on Fox, so wall-to-wall Big 12. And now I'm getting word from Scotty Swingler. We have the great Jimmy Walker. Hey, Jimmy, it is not every day we get a PGA champ to come visit us here on the Pete Sousa Show. Thanks, man.
Here we go.
Here we go is right, dude. So you're not physically back in Waco, but you are right now. We film the show a lot of days out of Waco. So welcome home, I guess. A little morsel of that.
Yeah, it's so interesting driving by the school anymore. It is not what I remember it.
What's the biggest change you see when you drive by?
Oh man, the amount of buildings, and I've been to the new stadium. It's incredible, but it's just from 35, man, it's changed so much. Just the amount of growth, it's pretty incredible.
It is cool to drive, and I tell people this: when you drive down 35 and you pass through Waco, it's very clear. Like it's almost a great advertisement for the school. You have Foster Pavilion on one side and that beautiful football facility on the other, and then you have that brand new building, like the glass building. That's it's a big deal, man. You're part of something huge, bud.
Yeah. I don't think I had much part in it, but it's sure cool to see, and it's sure been fun to watch it grow and watch the sports do well. And I know it's always big when football teams, in high gear. So it'd be fun to see them keep the pedal down this year.
Yeah, they're hoping to keep the pedal down Saturday night against Arizona State, and I'll ask you a little bit about that before we wrap up. But I really want to talk to you about the Ryder Cup. Obviously coming up here in 2 weeks. At Bethpage. As someone who competed in the Ryder Cup, can you describe? Is there a way to describe the pressure and also the honor that comes with playing in an event like that for America?
Yeah, I think I remember my first one was at Glen Eagles over in Scotland, and can you prepare for it? I don't think so, especially if it's your first one. I think just going into it, you're going to experience feelings I don't think you've ever really experienced in the golf world. You always go out and play for yourself, and for some of these guys, college was a long time ago, and but the sense of playing for your country, you're playing for yourself. There's no prize money. It's strictly an exhibition, but it means so much. It's got so much history. Um, And I think, as a fan and as a player, you've seen just some of the most incredible golf be played. And, golf's a game where not everybody has it every week. Obviously, Scotty Scheffler is showing us, some very special stuff right now. But and the European squad's got guys that are doing the same thing. But it's amazing how many guys show up with their highest level game for that week. And I always said, God, after I played my first Ryder Cup, I felt like I played so incredibly well. It's like, man, why can't I do this every week? Why can't I tap into this little reservoir that I somehow found this week? So I remember playing with Zach at Hazeltine, and we both talked about it. I mean, there's more pressure in that than competing and trying to win a major championship. There really is, and it's hard to put into words. If I was a writer, maybe I could do a better job.
What do you think about the first tee? Like when your experience being on the first tee for the first time that some of these guys will be going through here on September 25th, 26th. What's that like?
I always made my partner tee off first. It's something. It's different. It's different at both spots. On the away turf, the crowds over there on the first tee with the chants and the songs, and when you make your practice swings, it's very intense. And then you come here to home and you do it, and it's a completely different feeling. I almost feel like there's more pressure when you get home because everybody is rooting for you. You don't so much feel it when you're across the pond, but you do know that everybody at home is waking up early and watching you go off, and um, it is something. I mean, I've heard stories of guys. I remember there was video of Luke Donald not being able to get the ball on the tee. So it is something. It can really work you up, and it can help you shine too.
It's such an amazing event, and the pageantry and players like you competing in it. And a lot of times too, you do get it's golf. You get a ton of egos, and it's rare that you partner with some of these, top flight guys. What is, I guess, how important is chemistry? And is it hard to find? Does it take a minute, or do guys just show up and get it? Is it like the dinner scene in Happy Gilmore that I just saw? Happy Gilmore 2, or is it something that's with a little more tension?
The team room, I think, is kind of what the players make it. I think the captain can have a lot of say on how that goes and feels. I think I had two different kind of looks at it. Tom Watson my first year, and then Davis Love the next year. First year was more, 14 was more serious. We still cut loose and, had some ping pong, and but the next time it was more, there were some speakers and we had guys come in and give talks. Um, but as far as chemistry with your players and your teammates, I think it's important to enjoy being with the person that you're playing with, and respect them, and have a good relationship with them, because you're about to go into battle with these guys, and it means a lot. It means a lot to yourself. It means a lot to your partner, and it means a lot to your country and your teammates. And so I think it's important. I mean, I've only had at the Ryder Cup, I only had two playing partners. I played with Ricky Fowler for the first four matches in 14, and I played with Zach
Couple
Johnson.
Big 12 guys, you and Ricky Fowler.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
exactly. And then played with Zach Johnson for two matches at Hazeltine. And both guys I get along with, guys I roomed with. We rented houses together, we cooked together, practice rounds. So I felt very comfortable playing with those two guys, because I knew them. I knew what they were all about. I knew we'd have good conversation. I knew we could lean on each other and keep it loose. If you're playing with somebody you don't really hang out with, or somebody you don't like, it could be more difficult. It doesn't mean that you can't go out and do your job and play good and go show off. And because that's what you're trying to do with your buddy is, let's go show off and kick some tail and have a good time. That's what you're there to do that. and enjoy the experience. I think this year at Bethpage, the golf course by itself is very demanding and challenging. I'm sure they'll have it set up very tough. I played a US Open there, played some playoff events there, and it's a tough, tough track. And then there's the crowds up there, which are notoriously pretty brutal. So, we even had to deal with that at Hazeltine. We had to calm the crowd down and keep them from saying rowdy stuff. So I imagine up there it's even going to be more so.
But that Bethpage is it? It's fast, right? I mean, like the greens are fast. Am I wrong about that, or is it still?
Well,
Is that something you have to worry about?
they will be. It's obviously golf is very weather dependent. I don't know what
Yeah.
the forecast looks like, but I, the home team gets to set up. I'm pretty sure the course setup and how they want it to play. And I know our guys are more used to firmer, or faster greens. I'm not going to say firmer, but uh, they will definitely try to set it up in the favor of the U.S. for sure.
Looking at the roster, Scotty Scheffler, Xander Schauffele, Russell Henley, and then, you get to the captain's picks, Justin Thomas. Those are just a few names. Who do you look to, or who do you think we will see emerging for America at a course like this? Like who is best suited to play Bethpage? Is it Scotty? Is it someone else? And why?
I think that with the rough the way it is, I mean, obviously you have to look at Scotty. He's playing well, seems like every week and everywhere he goes. So, I mean, I think he needs to be playing every match. He's young, he's mentally capable. I think he can handle whatever they throw at him. And I think there's a few guys like that you do need to lean on. This isn't a participation trophy. I think if you want to win, you've got to have your best players out there, and I think you've got to, you've really got to try to put it on them as good as you can. There's some rookies, and a lot of times the rookies really show up and play well. It's definitely a driving golf course. Seems like JJ and Russell hit it super straight. I know Russell's one of the straightest drivers of the golf ball on tour. How does that equate to there? Hard to say, but it's an interesting course for Ryder Cup. I think the hometown crowd could have a big influence. I know that Europe's got a big chip on their shoulder. They've got a pretty stacked team.
Yeah.
So I look for them to come out swinging hard and fast.
How do you say, when you say about the crowd, like how for somebody who doesn't know, right? Like an average football fan that will be watching the Ryder Cup, right? Like how does the crowd have such an impact on these golfers, and how is it different,
Well, I think it's like in sports. It's in any other team game, the home team usually has an advantage. That's why you fight hard for the regular season and get the home field advantage, because it does make a difference. So I think Europe's proved that. We haven't won over there since the early 90s or late 80s. I don't remember, something like that. So it makes a big difference. And we haven't seemed to be able to crack the code. I know my team that I played on was unsuccessful. And I don't know what it is. They just seem to play better over there. More cohesion between the team. I don't know. But I do know that home team does have the advantage. You will not feel the sting of bad shots as much. Not that you really feel it over there, because the fans and the crowd base are very respectful, which is interesting. Even going over just playing a regular European Tour event over there, even playing the Open Championship, it's a different feel. Golf, decent golf shots are applauded more. We're over here, it's, oh man, you can hit it inside of 10 feet all day and sometimes I'll get a clap. So it's tough.
When you look at their roster, right? Obviously Rory, Tommy Fleetwood, Shane Lowry, who do you see emerging for them? Who fits the bill to excel in this type of environment and also on this course?
It's hard to say. I mean, I look at their team and everybody on there is world-class player. Not saying that our guys aren't either, but those guys play a world stage. They're moving and running and gunning all over, so they'll be ready for the challenge. McIntyre's been playing really well. Tommy Fleetwood coming off the FedEx Cup. Rory's had an amazing year capping off the Grand Slam. And he always seems to get fired up for that. They're pretty good. I mean, Tyrrell and Rom, and I mean it's a pretty good team. So I mean, I hate saying it. I think we got our work cut out for us, but I would love to see it super tight and fun. I mean, if it came down to the last group, the last day, or the last singles match, I mean, it would be awesome. It's great TV to watch. Uh, so I hope it's tight. I really do. It'll be fun to watch.
Amazing event. Jimmy, just a couple more questions for you, and I'll let you get back to it. I know you probably have a lot to do. Take us inside the team environment when you get to the site, right? Like, how does that go? Is there like a speech or a talk or like a tone that is set when you first arrive that carries into play? Or is it a lighter environment where, hey, like, do you guys ever get an opportunity to blow off steam? Like, what is that like?
There's cookouts, and being at home, I think you've got more opportunity to have more fun things that you're used to. I know we had, Davis was big into barbecue, and he had his favorite barbecue joint come and cook for us every night. You hear the ping pong stories, and it's a lot of it is it's fun to just because you don't just hang out with these guys all the time. There's a few guys that hang out, but you get to know some of the players better than you ever have, and meeting their wives and meeting their families, and so that aspect of it to me, I think, kind of builds towards more of a team bonding experience, because you are getting ready to go do something very difficult. Like in the grand scheme of your life and career, it doesn't mean a ton. You're not doing it for prize money. You're just doing it for pride. And we became professional athletes and golfers for to go play for prize money, and it's just kind of one of those things that you get to go do, and it ends up meaning so much to you. Um, I remember losing my Ryder Cup in 14, losing the Ryder Cup in 14, but winning my singles match, and that was maybe one of the most proud moments of my life. I happened to play extremely well and had a great match, but eking out those wins, eking out a push, fighting to the end. It's what it's all about, and felt like I learned a lot personally from that, um, and furthered that, down in my career down the line. Like, oh, remember that shot? Oh, this wasn't that hard, kind of a deal.
It
So
puts things in perspective, I would imagine.
it does. It really
Yeah.
does. It's an absolute blast. It's nerve-wracking as hell, but it's fun. You get done and you just take a couple of deep breaths and just like, whoa, that was a lot.
Couple more. When you you're here, you are, Baylor guy. You look like you could, maybe look like a Baylor grad. Not to just throw that out there, but inside, dude, as a golfer who wins like you do and has had the career like you do, you're a killer. Upstairs, no, really, you are. I mean, you're gonna probably won't just hang in there and take the compliment. Up here, you have to be, and your skill set has to be elite, right? So you go to these Ryder Cups. Let's say you make new friends, right? Let's say you and Justin Thomas, just that's a for instance, become really close. And then now here you guys are vying for the PGA championship, right? Like, I don't know, a year later. Like, is it a benefit that you've gotten to know this guy, or do you almost not like it because you'd rather just be a killer and keep him as somebody you don't like? I would imagine you do, like you mentioned, become really close with these dudes. But now you still have to look to blow them away in the most competitive of environments. How's that play out?
Well, you still like if you're playing, if you're at the top and you've got a buddy there, obviously you're there to do your job, and that is to get the most out of your round you can and try to win, obviously. I think you find it more once you get to know somebody when you're either not playing that week, or you miss the cut, or you're finishing 20th. You do, like, he's a friend. I do root for him. Um, so yeah, I think there's a lot of that. It's a very individual sport, and it's very cutthroat. And I think that that's kind of one of the knocks on our team, is that we don't have as much of that camaraderie as the European squad does. So I think that that's what they've tried to do the last, 2, 3 Ryder Cups, is try to build that bond and that friendship. And one of the things I remember doing before 16 was we got on to Gillette up in Foxborough and got to go out on the field and throw footballs. And we had messages from Belichick and Gronk and Brady, and sat in the team conference room and watch and listen to that. And they threw us a party, and I remember that was a pretty cool night. Just everybody going and getting to hang out, and like, all right, this is starting to feel a little more like it. So I don't know what they've done this year or what they are doing, but hopefully they're doing something fun like that and kind of building that up.
All right, let's take it to the football field now. Last question for you. The Baylor football team, they got Arizona State this week. It's a huge game, right? 6:30 Central Time on Fox. So it'll be perfect. You won't have to go out of your way to watch it, Jimmy. Just hit the remote, no problem. All right. Who do you like in that game? And have you seen anything? I know you've watched Baylor this year. Anything about the team that you really like?
I think I haven't watched too much. I was proud of them for going and stepping it up at the beginning of the year and like going and playing a real team.
Yeah.
I really thought that we had a chance to win that game. And then I was busy at the hunting lease and ran back to the house and flipped on the SMU game. I was like, oh yeah, Baylor's on. And I turned it on right when the guy kicked the field goal to win the game in second OT. And I was like, oh my gosh, of all the games to have missed, this would have been just an absolute awesome one to watch. And then taking care of business last week. I don't know. I don't even know what the line is this week.
2.5. Baylor's favored by 2.5.
I think they're coming off some good mo. I don't see why you couldn't pick another one off. I think I had them I do a pick 'em pool, and I think I had them going over 7-5 this year. So I know it's tough. It's so interesting with the Big 12 does not look like what it used to. And I see all these teams in it now. I'm like, what? What is this?
I know. Yeah.
It's pretty wild. So I wish them all the best, and it's fun to watch, and definitely be watching this weekend.
All right, Jimmy Walker, Baylor grad, PGA champ, Ryder Cup alum. Thank you so much, dude, for taking the time. It means a lot.
Thanks,
really
Pete.
cool to connect with you.
Yeah, anytime, man.
All right, Jimmy. Take care, bud. All right, there he goes. Jimmy Walker. Pretty cool. It's not every day that you get a Baylor grad to come on a show that's based out of here in Central Texas and talk about the Ryder Cup because he played in it, right? Great stuff. All right, we're going to come back. Scotty and I are going to chat a little bit about college football and a bridge version of the Pete Sousa show today. What's Scotty think about Dabo Swinney and everything he had to say yesterday? I know he's got some thoughts. We're coming back, presented by Slovakics after this.
Bubble allows you to make it real and for it to actually work. So I feel like Bubble bridges that gap and being able to give people the opportunity to make their ideas come to life really quickly too. I love that I can sit down and build something the way that I think it should be built and have the control over it.
Bubble turns ideas into fully scalable apps. Try Bubble today.
Hi, I'm Jo from Face Theory. You're going to want to have a specific goal for your skincare routine. What do you want to achieve? Active ingredients are really strong, and if you're using too many at once, your skin can get overwhelmed. Don't overspend on products. Choose products that have scientific research behind them. At Face Theory, if you're not happy with a product, just say so, just give us a shout and we'll give you your money back, no problem.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone and then you're gonna use the Kodak Photo Print app. It's going to print you a 4x6 photo. I am just in awe. I love how these turned out. Also, the printer comes with a free cartridge of 10 photo sheets. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
Streamline event and appointment booking with Amelia's sleek, modern, and fully customizable booking forms. Tailor the colors, fonts, and design to match your brand and seamlessly integrate with your WordPress website. Whether it's for events or appointments, Amelia makes booking simple, stylish, and perfectly aligned with your business. Enhance your booking experience today at WPAmelia.com. That's WPAMELIA.com. Amelia.
When you learn a language with Babbel, you start a journey that takes you further and further. Anytime and anywhere you wish. It's easy and fun. Broadens your horizons and keeps your brain fit. A journey into new thoughts, new cultures, new adventures. So what are you waiting for? Start your journey with Babbel now. Go to babbel.com or download the app.
BadCreditLoans.com is a pioneering service provider that has carved a reputation in the financial industry for its dedication to helping individuals with bad credit secure loans. By making timely repayments, borrowers can gradually repair their credit history, thereby increasing their chances of securing better loan terms in the future. BadCreditLoans.com serves as a beacon of hope for those with bad credit. Simple, fast, and reliable loan application process. And its commitment to responsible borrowing makes it a trusted partner in the journey towards financial stability.
All right, what fun to have Jimmy Walker involved. Very cool, very chill guy. And I did have to bring that up. Those, he has a great sense of humility, right? We tapped into just from talking to him, but the guy's a killer. I mean, he's to be an elite golfer. It's got to be the hardest sport to compete at. It really does. I remember I got into a huge fight at the airport in Chicago with Christy because it was like, what do you think the most difficult sport is? And she was like, I was like golf, and she was like water polo. I was like, okay, I got to go. And I got up and left. Just kind of joking, but like she was serious. And she she gets her teeth into an argument and she wouldn't give up. So then I'm like, okay, like, she works in marketing. Like, do I tell her about marketing stuff? Like, no, like just defer to me. Golf is hard. End of story. And then of course, then she's looking it up and showing me the phone about how tough it is. And, that was a whole thing. But she's rarely wrong and always sure. That's my girl. I love her. This is great because she's so busy with work now. I know she never watches anymore, so I can say stuff. I mean, she might be watching and I might get in trouble, but she knows I love her.
I'm waiting for the comment.
Yeah, no comment. We're in the clear.
I'm waiting for the comment.
So we talked. What I was talking about before we got a chance to talk to Jimmy Walker was that Joel Klatt. We talked with Joel Klatt this morning for Inside the 12, and a couple interesting things that he brought up that I thought were like just neat notes as he's getting ready for Texas Tech and Utah top 20 matchup in Salt Lake City. He talked about last year when Utah was really broken down and beat up. They played Colorado in Colorado, and Kyle Whittingham was right there and got to see firsthand how well Travis Hunter played on both sides of the ball and how lethal that was to have a player of that skill set and magnitude play on both sides of the ball. So what's he doing this year? Utah is using like 3 or 4 guys who are like total weapons, and they're going both ways. And that's like a wrinkle for a Utah team that might have the best offensive line in all of football. They got 2 first-round draft picks on that offensive line. By the way, that matchup is going to be sick because you have 2 amazing offensive linemen, and you have two dudes, I think Lee Hunter and David Bailey, who are like pass rushers and sack artists for Texas Tech. So they will try to get Devin Dampier out of the pocket and make him make quick decisions, because if he has time to throw, he could pick you apart, right? But then on the move, uncomfortable, out of the pocket, having to make quick decisions, that can make his life pretty difficult. So an interesting one there. I got Lizzie and Scotty in the studio, and now everybody's giggling in here. I'm trying to do a friggin' show, and I got the Bopsy twins with like an inside joke. It's great to have Lizzie here. She actually she volunteered. She's going to do some voiceovers for our for some ads on the Pete Sousa show, which is great because we had some new ads come up during our break, and they're great, but they're not. So they need some fixing. And I think like there's enough like dude energy around here that maybe Lizzie would want to.
They're great, but they're not.
Yeah, no, there are like, I totally appreciate the effort. I mean, we've been doing this for a year, and finally we have sponsors of the show with commercials on. What happened to the impact ads? Very little impact.
I mean, the rest of those were impact ads.
Oh, they were?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, we've got like 10 sponsors, but we should just have them all.
I don't know that we've seen any dollars from those impact ads though.
Well,
here in Studio 3.
Really? Oh, really?
Or like me and you.
Yeah. No, dude, of course not. Look, I'm just happy to show up and see that thing lit. Really, because this is a great opportunity, and we're getting to a lot of people. You guys want me to tell you a story? I'll tell you a story. So yesterday, I did this whole rap about Monday Night Football because I was super excited about how awesome Troy Aikman and Joe Buck are. And I just love Joe Buck and whatever, read his book, and I've always loved him. And anyways, he saw the clip, Joe Buck on his own. I don't know how the hell this happens, really. Like, thank you, algorithm. Somehow Joe Buck is sitting somewhere, and across his bow or across his phone, more appropriately, comes our segment yesterday where I get to talk about my affinity for this Monday Night Football crew and how like they are, because it does remind me it's important again, like it was when I was a kid. And go back and watch the segment from yesterday. But that's pretty cool. And he liked it, and he texted his buddy, who's a buddy of mine, about how great he thought it was, which I thought was pretty cool. So that's why we keep showing up, right, Scotty? That and you know, we do want to get paid a little bit. All right, Scotty. I do want to chat with you a little bit. Again, a bridge version of the Pete Sousa show.
You're
today.
going to talk to me today?
Yeah, shut up.
Oh my god!
Because you have Mosley at 1:00, right?
Pete Sousa's going to speak with me.
So you have Mosley at 1:00,
yeah,
right?
we've got of course, the Matt Mosley show.
By now, everybody has seen Dabo Swinney yesterday.
Yes.
Right. Scotty? What did you think about that?
He's right.
How is he right? I'm curious.
He's the best coach in their history. He's the third best coach of the last 30 years. And if they want to run him out of town, they will become a 8-5 perennial program.
Yeah.
I believe that. I could be wrong, but
do you think he's a little sensitive?
Oh, he's always been a little sensitive. That's not new. I mean, he's always been very quick to defend not just himself, but his coaching staff, players. I mean, he's very confident in who he is and what he's doing. It does suck. You're 1-2, and like you're one of the 5 best programs of the last 2 decades. I get, it's kind of like the Brian Kelly freak out. Like you kind of got to go with it. Like it's part of the job. It's part of the job. But he's also right. Like my first thought when he's like, "Hey, y'all like winning?" I was like, "Good point." Yeah. Like this dude's won a lot of games. Like we'll take him at Baylor over Dave Aranda if he wants to leave. I mean, come on.
By the way, I don't give a shit. And you've been there. Like when a head coach turns the table, especially ones of that magnitude, turns the tables and starts asking people questions, media members, like it's
so
a shame.
Goofy.
They gotta have a feature where they can flip it and show us the people sitting there.
I wish. It's also uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable. People get scared. All of a sudden, all these people who hide behind keyboards, some of whom I love, right? Like they now have to sit there and field questions and feel like intimidated, and just sort of know, or maybe for a second experience what it was like, or what it's like to be under that kind of pressure. Yeah. But I thought it was a little sensitive. I thought my whole thing was like, and again, I'm not in that bubble, right? In Clemson, where obviously people must have been writing some tough stuff. but it's like you're Dabo Swinney. Like I don't know that you need to entertain that.
The comp for Dabo, and it's not a 1-to-1, but I think it's a decent comp, is Scott Drew. And I can absolutely see that why people would make that comparison for Baylor fans, local people here, that comparison should make a lot of sense.
Okay.
Scott Drew did this when we had him on our very first Matt Mosley episode a few weeks ago, and Mosley's asking him about fans being upset about the one and dones and the transfer portal, and we can't fall in love with any of these stars over time because they come and they go and they're never here for many years. And Scott Drew just kind of leans over and he's like, we're only one of 3 teams since 2019, Matt Mosley, to win an NCAA tournament game every season. Do you know that we're the only team that's had a top, 16 draft pick, whatever it is? Like he starts rattling off the numbers. He's like, I think that's pretty good. And it's kind of like you can ask the questions, but let me remind you who I am.
Yes.
And who we are. And I think for Dabo, like, do it, bro. Like,
well, you bring up an amazing point, because like Baylor and Clemson, like Clemson football did have a time where they were really good, but it was a long time ago.
Right.
And Baylor football really never, well, Baylor did. I mean, but not.
But even
Clemson
under
won a
Grant
national.
Taft, Baylor football was not like the national.
Clemson won a national title.
Yeah.
Correct.
Correct.
So I do remember though, when I was in high school and I got Bill Walsh college football, and they only had like 16 current teams, and like they had like 10 great teams, and Baylor was one of them, it was like the Mike Singletary squad,
Sick.
which I always was like, wow, that was awesome. And I guess they finished the season top 5, I think. One of those years.
Way to go, Mike Singletary.
Yeah, but this, Scott Drew is Baylor basketball. Like without Scott Drew, I don't know where Baylor basketball will go after Scott Drew. I don't think it'll fade into obscurity because of the Big 12 and alums and stuff. But look, it won't be the same without him. And Dabo Swinney's the same thing. Like it's not like a Michigan or an Alabama, where you can like. The idea is plug and play.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And I still think Clemson would be a successful program, but like they are not positioned. Like let's say Kalen DeBoer continues to struggle at Alabama. You could see Alabama making another hire and immediately becoming a perennial 10-win team again, because they're in the SEC. They're a great recruiting place. They have all these championships. They've got the, Nick Saban's on TV. Like Clemson is not situated so well.
Yeah.
It's going to take another coach doing great work. You could win another title there, but it's not ACC, not the same kind of level as some of these other SEC schools.
But the ACC stinks. That's one thing.
Well, but and I'm agreeing with you. So if Clemson were an SEC program, and I don't like that I'm playing into the SEC thing right now, but if Clemson were an SEC program that could go hire any coach they wanted tomorrow, I would say, yeah, sure, Dabo. But they're not. They're not that. Like they're not Alabama. They're not LSU. They're not Ohio State. Right? They're not. Those are schools that they could hire anyone they want, anytime, and compete for national titles with the right coach.
Yeah.
Clemson's not that. Clemson's like 1/2 step below that.
Yeah.
By the way, remember when you told me a few weeks ago that Brent Key is a bad head coach? Just want to remind you.
I never said he was.
Georgia Tech's looking really good. They just beat Clemson.
I said if Brent Key walked into a 7-Eleven, nobody would recognize him. That's what I said. And that was not that far off.
Yeah, because you were ranking coaches based on what they look like, not based on.
No, I was ranking coaches based on their history, and I was a little taken with Bill Belichick, who, by the way, they're an underdog at UCF.
Taken with a guy with no history. Yeah.
They're an underdog at UCF this week. I'm looking at some of the coaches that preceded.
Dabo?
Yeah. Danny Ford was the legendary one, right? Like he was 129 and 96, 76 percentage, 76 win
But
percentage.
Dabo's is better than that.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dabo's almost 80%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Since 2008.
That's the other comp, by the way, not to just dovetail into the topics I know, but like the other thing that's the same with Scott Drew and Dabo Swinney is there's people every year, they're like, but are they really a good head coach, or are they just like CEO people? And I'm like, that's the most idiot. They have both won national championships. Yes, they are great coaches. They are all-time coaches. What are we talking about?
No, that's absolutely ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous.
But you've heard people say that. They're like,
Yeah.
are we sure Dabo's a good coach, or is he just like a good person who hires good people? It's like, no, dude. Like,
No. That's
well,
not-
but he had Trevor Lawrence. Okay. And,
I am a huge fan of Dabo Swinney. I thought it was a little sensitive, but I'm always here for, look, that's why football is amazing, and this time of year is amazing, because you get to, like, on a Tuesday afternoon Dabo Swinney freaking out at a press conference just shows up on your feed. You know what I mean? And it's brand new. That's like really cool. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. This just happened now. That's another thing too, with like all the stuff, like social media blows in a lot of respects, but it's pretty cool. Like to be able to.
His freakouts aren't as good though. I was reminded yesterday, we talked about this on the Mosley show. Yesterday was the 6-year anniversary of the Mike Leach, who would win a Pac-12 cage match with all the mascots were thrown into a fight together.
Yes.
And I watched the whole thing and I was like, there will never be another Mike Leach. Never. I wish we had some Mike Leach.
Never, because he was a great coach. Like,
well, he was a great coach, but like, there's never been anyone like that behind the mic.
Yeah, if anybody that's that colorful, they're usually not worth a damn. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
right.
He was both.
Right.
You know? All right, what's Scotty B saying? And then we got to go.
Oh, he's just talking about Scott Drew. And
what does he say?
He said, if Baylor let go of Scott Drew, we'd hire someone from his tree. I think that's true.
So Scotty's on board. He doesn't buy it.
Clemson isn't making the college football playoff unless they win the ACC title. Yep.
No, yeah, that's true.
I think that's definitely true at this point. Which they could. They did that last year. They were what, 8-3 last year going into the title or whatever.
Yeah.
And they upset SMU. So not out of reach for Clemson, but you got to be perfect from here.
Good news for Mosley as we get set for the Mosley show coming up in about a half hour. Bryce Anderson, who was injured in that win over Notre Dame, is going to be okay. I guess it was a really bad injury. It was maybe a cat. Look, Mosley just retweeted. Great news. So that's when I know it's time to go when I'm talking about Mosley tweets.
Really, really happy to hear that.
Yeah. So a short show today. The Big 12 show got backed up, so we got jammed up. But we'll be back tomorrow. And it's a big show, better than ever. We'll be running close to 2 hours, and we'll talk to Steve Smith. That's right, number 89, Steve Smith. I cannot wait to chat with him. Obviously, NFL Network, soon to be, if not already, Pro Football Hall of Famer. I promise I will clean that up before we talk to him. And really cool to have Steve Smith on the show tomorrow. And really cool to talk to Jimmy Walker today. So thanks to Scotty Swingler. Thanks to Chris Visser. It was cool to have Liz in here today while we had a live show. And it's good to know that we're putting her to work. So that's about it. But the Pete Sousa Show will be back tomorrow. Thank you, Slovacic.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning. So we love Extraco.
Show. Sports.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is stark.
Show. Sports.
Our professionals are not only experts in managing urgent concerns, but also in providing top-notch preventative health care. We're proud to connect pet owners to a vast network of licensed veterinary professionals, ready to address any immediate concerns. Book your first appointment today.
Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. NALGENE.com. We are Rogue Media Sports.